What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age Mythology Retold action. I really wanted to share this game because I've been working on this idea, and I think it's gonna reshape how a lot of players can play the game and enjoy the game. Because, you know, for the longest time, well, at the very least, whenever you watch high level players playing, there's a lot of skill going on in trying to min defend. And I thought about it and I was like, well, there's this new god, the Aztecs, that have come in, and there's this new god that is in there called Huitzilopochtli. And this god comes with this god power blood pact, which is effectively guaranteed damage if you get your hero or you get a myth unit into your opponent's base and they're not close to a garrison point. So and the town center doesn't deal with it, so you can't even just sit underneath the town center, and then they can just keep flooding you with heroes non-stop. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, what if we just ignore it? What if we just don't worry about it, and we just do something, we just completely lock off our base, and then we're going to be in a really good spot. So this is the basic premise. The basic premise is, if I advance late, and my opponent advances fast, let's just call it differentials in amounts of villages created before we advance. So let's say I advance at 15 villages and my opponent advances at 13 villages. That's a 2 village differential, which means I'm going to get around about 120 seconds of gather time more than what my opponent gets. Actually, it might be, yes, 120 seconds, right? Because they're going to catch up after I've advanced on their villager creation. And then it's going to be no more advantage. The actual resource differential is approximately 120 as well. It's going to be a little bit less depending on if you're playing Greek or if you're playing Norse or whatever. So we'll just call it 120 for ease of calculation, right? I put these walls down. This is 21. This is 21. This is 21, right? This here is a little bit less than 21. That's about 1 villager differential, right? That I've done here to get this amount of walls done. Of course, I'm playing as Norse. If I'm playing as a different god and I have to use my villagers to build it, it costs a little bit more because that's actually villager train time. But still, this is the plan, right? I want to get my gold mine. I want to get my wood line protected such that I'm not going to get absolutely destroyed by an early game attack. So you can see that the way that I'm planning this is I'm going to use my town center as my launch pad for my walls, basically. And I'm going to attach a temple to the corner and 2 houses to the other corner. Now you can put these out from the side, 2 houses, or you can go from the corner, or you can go from the other corner here and then go out this way as well. But this is the way that I saw here for me to be able to deal with this. And now I can place my villages on the wood line, and I can place my houses over here. Now, the next part here is somewhat important as well. I probably could have gotten away with not building a 3rd ox cart. Of course, this is one of the first times I've tried to do this, but the next part is also important. These villagers on this hunt are going to be very open to dying. So what you need to do here as well is get these villagers, or get this hunt underneath the town center. And this is going to be something you can do with pretty much every civ against any of the really hyper-aggressive, unfortunately I killed this one, against any of the hyper-aggressive civs. You can do this, and then all of a sudden, your opponent is not going to be able to do any damage to you, which is absolutely fantastic. So a turtle player, a player that doesn't want to deal with these early games and just wants to have a nice slow start, enjoy their early game, you can build your base like this. It's really, it seems like it's a really, really good idea. Of course, you can see how much differential in the villager train time here. My opponent's advanced. He drops blood pact, and now my villagers are safe. They're going to just keep gathering. He can't break through my house. He can try if he wants. The town center is going to kill off the blood pacted warrior priest, or at least it's going to die eventually. He's going to hit my tower a little bit, and as soon as he leaves, I can go back over to the hunt. So the tiniest little bit of reactions there, and I've taken 0 damage. He's lost a warrior priest, and of course I can just repair my wall back up, and we're completely fine here in the early game. Now this, you could argue that this is somewhat Frere exclusive because I've got free repair rate. This would obviously cost a little bit of resources if I'm playing as a non-Norse god. Of course, if I was playing as Thor, Odin, Loki, it would cost the gold to repair this, but it's not that much. It's free repair, and I don't have to utilize the infantry units. Sorry, I don't have to utilize villages to repair this. That being said, I do think it's perfectly valid here to go ahead and just repair these walls back up and take the L on a little bit of idle time. There's not a real big problem with that. You fall a little bit behind on resources, a tiny bit, but you're going to be able to sort your game out, and then you're going to be able to push back out. And at the very end of it all, at very worst, you've had a very easy early game, taken 0 real damage, and maybe you're at an equal position in the game, but your base is protected. So this is the general idea. I think it's pretty strong. We're going to keep watching this game just to show you that I'm not really behind here. I put this Asgardian Hill Fort down because I know that I need to make Huskarl in this matchup. Huskarl are going to be beating the Tekiwa Archer, of which is really, really tough to deal with for Norse. You can't really build raiding cavalry and take out the Tekiwa Archer because of the Spearmen and also the Scorpion Men. So I'd rather build those Huskarl. That's at least going to deal with the Spearmen and all the other good stuff. And then also a Longhouse to deal with any sort of Jaguar or Ocelotl warriors that might be coming in to deal with my Huskarl. And also if he does decide to go in for Spearmen, we can deal with those too. And then I'm also noticing that he's not attacking me, so I'm just going to go for a town center next. It's a nice town center here. And I think this would be my general game plan 9 times out of 10 here anyways. And if he does come over and stops me, I go, great, no worries. I'll pull back in and we'll just throw down some more longhouses and we'll start spamming units out, and we can push out of our base and look for this position a little bit later. But this is my general plan here. Is I'm pretty sure he's going for a town center, of which he has gone for one. I can show you that he has gone for a town center here. Of course, it's part of the Huitzilopochtli game plan to go for a town center because it's part of their god bonus. So people are going to just go for it. So you can make a guess that that's going to happen. But again, if they do happen to have units and they do happen to come in and try and deny this, that's fine. We just leave and we just take the L. And again, and you can take L's in this game. You can take risks. It's fine. You can always play well afterwards and bring it back. The big thing you can't do, as you see a couple of units in, the big thing you can't do is take you can't take bad fights. You can't lose your entire army and then get gold staff. Those things you're not allowed to do that. So anyways, I see 4.3 speed large scorpions. I want to get as much damage onto these as I can. If I can clean these up, this is a real big bonus for me to actually take a fight against his army. One thing that I've thought about in my sort of gameplay against the Aztecs against Norse is that if I open just against normal Norse, not against Freyr, if I open with pure Tekiwa archers and also go for the infestation, then I don't really have to worry. My archers can kill off the Herser, my Scorpion men can protect my archers against any raiding cavalry, and of course any sort of warrior priests are going to be good too, as my opponent does try to charge in here. He does not have more stuff than me. I have more stuff than him. So he has to run, which is fantastic. And I'm just going to continue to get the walls up. Now, this is, again, another really important part about playing against the Aztecs. There's a unit that the Aztecs have that is inarguably imbalanced at the moment. However, just because something is very, very strong doesn't mean you just go ahead and throw your arms up and say, this thing's busted, I'm just going to resign if you use it. No, we're going to try and outplay it. And that unit is the Obsidian Butterfly, right? The weakness to the strength of the Obsidian Butterfly is that it can one-hit villages when you get the packs of villages, when you get the upgrade. And it moves at 5.8 speed. Very, very strong. So how do you deal with it? Well, the simple answer is you just get walls up and you get stone walls up, and then guess what? Speed doesn't matter. You can get over there, you can defend it with your Herser, and Herser will be able to kill the Obsidian Butterfly. Now, my opponent's doing a great job of denying me here and trying to prevent my walls from coming up, but at the moment, I'm just playing very, very slow, and I've got time still to get my base sorted. My back base also needs to be walled up here as well, but I don't have to rush to deal with this. I have a little bit of time when the Heroic Age hits to actually ensure that the entirety of my villages are protected. It's around about, I would say, 20 seconds before the Obsidian Butterfly upgrade comes through. We take a big fight here. My front line is going to be able to tank versus these spearmen. The spearmen are amazing versus cavalry. They are not good versus Huskarl. If you actually take a look at the stats, it's 6 damage, 40% hack with 85 HP versus 127, 10% and 8.4. So I'm doing more damage. I'm doing more damage. I've got more HP. We're living the dream with the Huskarl versus the Spearman. So I don't mind taking those fights. He has to build Ocelot warriors to kill off my Huskarl in the classical age. Of course, when he hits the heroic age, he gets access to the Shorn one, which will absolutely dominate my Huskarl. But he does not have access to those just yet. So he has to go Ocelot warrior, but he's not doing that. So we get all the advantage here. Walls come up, and I'll drop another Asgardian hill fort here to protect my walls on this spot, much importantly, but protect my gold mine, and more walls on the back. And my next plan here is just to make a movement in to grab this town center. You can see I don't even care what my map looks like at the moment. I've got everything that I need, gold mines and things, and then I can come back and I do need to get this sorted out here. Otherwise, we're going to have some troubles. But double Asgardian hill fort, plenty of units, really big advantage on the military. I could, like looking at the actual state of the game right now, I could put some very, very heavy pressure onto my opponent and probably find a pretty large advantage. But I don't really know what's going on, and I'd rather play slow as fair because, well, I have a feeling that the slower I play, the better my chances of winning this game are, because I can enjoy my upgrades. Maybe if I was playing this situation as, say, Hades, or if I was playing this situation as, say, Egyptian, I might want to play a little bit more aggressive here so that I can convert an advantage that I might not have a little bit later. So there's all of that. But nonetheless, we'll see how things are going to go as my opponent hits the heroic age first. I get a little bit of freaked outness here as I go, well, there's going to be the obsidian butterflies coming. There is an opening into my base, and if he comes through this way, I'm going to be in trouble. And I again throw the longhouse down on my town center, and now you guys go, hang on, Boit. Isn't the whole reason we don't build our buildings like this is because players are trying to save their town center for an efficient farming position? And I say to you, well, why, yes, that is exactly why players do this. However, if the entirety of my base is defended, take a look at all this open area. You don't think I can put farms down? I got plenty of places that are incredibly safe to put farms down. So yeah, no, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with my farming situation. I've also got this town center as well to put farms down. But yeah, I'm pretty if I was playing as Greek or if I was playing as Egyptian, I'd just walk over here, drop a granary, put 6 farms, drop another granary, put 6 farms, come over here, put 12 farms around there, come over here, put 6 farms, and I'd be very, very, very happy. Okay, so now we're into the heroic age, and we can start working towards our next sort of position, which is I want to wait for heavy infantry first and foremost, and then get myself, just basically get all my upgrades. I'll threaten to come and grab this town center. If he's not here, then I'll take it, because then I get Ghoul and Burst here, and I get Tempest, but he is here, so I say fantastic. No, not a real problem for us. Let's pull back, get a couple of picks, and I'll start slow pushing in to grab this town center. So I can go hill fort, town center. The basic premise here is that if I can get a Ghoul and Bursty Tempest off, then that's really, really big value for me, and I'm going to enjoy the game. So yeah, all the upgrades to come through. These upgrades here are really important. I don't see people getting these enough with Norse. It's also really important for other civs, but for Norse, it's very, very important, because if you end up in any position where you start losing buildings, your buildings being more valuable to actually produce units is a godsend to help you then get yourself the buildings back up and survive those sort of situations. But yeah, another hill fort to come down, and we will slowly get into this town center. I don't want to take a fight versus Purge, because Purge is going to be doing 1,500 resources worth of damage. So yeah, no fight versus Purge until a little bit later, unless we've got our Ghoul and Bursty Tempest combo. That's going to be more value than the Purge. So I'll be more than happy to take a fight down 1,500 resources worth of value. But if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the military diff, I can probably win a fight if worse comes to worse. Anyways, another hill fort to come down, and we can slowly start pushing in. I get the taunt onto the Obsidian Butterfly, and I immediately pounce. The Obsidian Butterfly's main strength is all front-loaded. So if I can taunt that, and I can get that special ability out, now it doesn't do that much. The Obsidian Butterfly actually kind of sucks if the special attack is down. And okay, so there goes the Tempest, there goes the Ghoul and Bursty. He has to run. Very, very happy with this. And he's out of here. Now, there goes the Purge as well. And I just don't want to lose my Throw and Axeman. I don't mind losing the Huskal because they're a little bit more expensive, but it actually doesn't make a whole bunch of sense. I don't mind losing the Huskal. The Throw and Axeman are what are important here because he's got a whole bunch of Sean ones. That's the real reason. And now I'm going to start putting some pressure on to this. He does have a whole bunch of these great temples, but at this point I'm going to get a lot of value. I'm feeling good about this. I will make the big observation right now that the Sean one is an exceptional unit for the Aztecs. Very, very, very strong. You can't... It's technically a counter infantry unit, but it doesn't behave like one. So it actually behaves more like a generalist infantry unit that has got bonus damage versus infantry. So more like the samurai than like a Hapaspist. Only... the samurai does actually lose to cavalry units, or at least the generalist cavalry units, and the Sean one does not. The Sean one is actually going to be beating those cavalry units when it's fully upgraded. So yeah, it's very, very strong. So I don't really care. I could be going into Jarls to tank a little bit more than the heavy Huskal, but I'm going to back myself and say that I can macro with the Throw and Axeman and the Huskals. And I have another actual big plan here to actually deal with it. So the main plan here is that the Sean one's main advantage is the AoE damage and stun, and that's front-loaded as well, just like the Eagle Warrior. So I'm going to basically be using Rock Giants to counter that, and then also on top of that, I'm going to be trying to go into Fafnir to completely dominate the human units, right? So I'm okay. So we're going to taunt the Sean one. We're going to Fafnir the Sean one, and it should be a nice way to go. I got plenty of favor in the bank to make that happen, and this is my general plan. As I've got a really nice position here. The one thing that I do have to be very aware of is that my opponent here is going to get 2 very, very large power spikes, or 3 large power spikes from maybe even 4 large power spikes moving in here. He's got the myth unit power spike. He gets 6 myth units from his great temple. He's got the Huitzilopochtli incarnate power spike, which is also very, very strong. As I'm going to drop my wolf over here and blow up his position to some degree. I just got to kill off that pillar of Tlalocan, and we are good to go. And then he's also got the fire ceremony, which he just used to get a huge amount of favor in. And then, of course, he's got the upgrade from Tlalocan, the economic upgrade from Tlalocan to give him around about 1,000-ish gold. So there's a lot of boosts for him hitting the Mythic Age. So I just need to weather the storm, because once I get to fully upgraded, I'm gonna have to feel like I'm gonna be in a good spot here. Okay, so now the gold will come up, and I'll get my upgrades for my Ghoul and Bursty. He does have the Tech Shipler. Now, the Tech Shipler here, very, very strong unit. I see a lot of players scared of it, though. It's strong in the damage. It's not strong in the DPS. Sorry, well, that doesn't make any sense. It's strong in the damage. It's not strong in the HP. You can focus that bad boy down. It's like the Son of Osiris, right? If it runs in, you just focus it down with your army, if you've got an actual army, and then your myth units are going to do really nice things there. And now my Fafnir can start coming through. I am still very, very scared of Sean ones and stuff like that. But at the moment, I've managed to basically trim the Aztec economy or the Aztec military down, and yeah, we're in a pretty good spot with our front line against the Sean one, and we're in a pretty good spot just in general. So we can slow push forward, coming over onto this side to secure a gold mine, and again, we just want to make sure it's all walled up. He can still potentially build those obsidian butterflies and ruin my life. So I don't want my life to be ruined, as this villager here is trying very, very hard to ruin it. He's like, I see that one palm tree blocking your base in. Let me just remove that without you really knowing, and then your life is going to be terrible. But anyways, of course, the Freya game plan has not changed since release. More hill forts is more. Every hill fort you put down is 0.5 food per second, but also is going to be HP regen for all your units surrounding this. You can see my guys coming up in HP here, which is nice. And I think, yeah, with the Fafnir army and all the other good stuff, I'm leaving them at the back right now. But once they start charging in, all these human units, they do not matter. He does have a bunch of warrior priests in, but I have so many myth units. Like, if you think about this, right, and this is something that maybe players, I've seen some complaints about the Aztecs, but maybe players are looking at this going, how is this fair? You have so many myth. I've got heroes, and the heroes aren't doing anything. And I'm like, dude, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 myth units, and you have 5 warrior priests. You think the 5 warrior priests should kill my myth units? Let's try building like 20, I don't know, 20 axemen, and come bring at them 5 hippies and see who wins the fight. The 20 axemen are going to win the fight. Nonetheless, you can see how strong this comp is and how difficult this is now for the Aztecs to actually deal with. Of course, I think if he actually built a whole bunch of myth unit here, he'd be in a good spot. There is another pretty insane tech that you have with Purge. I don't want to say it because I feel like it's going to get nerfed, but right now Purge doesn't have the proper favor calculation for myth units. So if you sack villages, drop a second Purge, you can actually kill upwards of 4 Fafnir with 1 Purge. Of course, you can run out of the Purge with the Fafnir, and they are quite quick at 4.8 speed. But yeah, you can potentially pick off a whole bunch of myth units there. And we do manage to get the dub here, but I just wanted to show this game off, and I've been trying this with a couple of different gods. I tried it with Demeter a little bit. I tried it with Fuxi. I got absolutely owned because I decided to not build units. Probably should have built units. But yeah, I wanted to show this idea off. I really like it. I think that this is something that's going to really help lower level players playing in the early stages of the game. There's a lot of people out there that really enjoy playing with the ultra aggression early in Age of Mythology, and the turtle players get left in the dust. And I think this turtle idea here for the very early stages of the game, and then you can start moving out and expanding your base slowly. I think this idea is really going to help you guys play and enjoy, instead of just getting bullied by a whole bunch of cavalry units early on, or speedy myth units, or in the case of the Blood Pact, a whole bunch of warrior priest, empower warrior priest, Blood Pact warrior priest killing your villagers before you're even ready to get set up. So hope you guys enjoy. If you did, make sure you follow it on the Twitch. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.